Welcome to this explainer. Today we're doing something really exciting. We are stepping completely out of the student mindset and directly into the shoes of a real-world literacy specialist. I wanted to create this specific assignment explainer because, for your culminating project, you're not just writing another standard paper. No way. You are going to integrate everything you've learned about assessment, theories of reading and writing, and evidence-based strategies. It's like a giant puzzle. You're taking all that knowledge and building a cohesive, applied intervention plan that directly responds to a specific learner's needs. It is the ultimate test of translating theory into actual, life-changing practice.
And you'll definitely want to give this your absolute best effort because this partner project carries some serious weight. We're talking exactly 100 points. That is literally 30% of your final grade. Think about it, that's nearly a third of your entire course performance wrapped up in this single instructional design challenge. Plus, because it's a partner project, it requires deep, truly equal collaboration. So yes, coordinating your schedules and maintaining crystal clear communication with your teammate is going to be just as critical as your grasp of the actual course material.
The entire assignment really hinges on this one massive, incredibly important question. Seriously, burn this into your brain because it acts as the North Star for your entire project. Every instructional choice you make, every goal you set, and every single strategy you pick needs to trace right back to this core concept. You have to prove to us that you can look at raw student data, figure out exactly what it means, and then craft instruction that is not just effective, but totally equitable and grounded in solid evidence.
To help you get there, we're going to chunk this dense assignment down into a clear roadmap covering 6 distinct phases: your mission as a specialist, the case study and diagnosis, designing the intervention plan, implementation and equity logistics, grounding instruction and research, and collaboration and final requirements. This flow guarantees you and your partner will hit every single objective without feeling completely overwhelmed.
Let's dive right into Phase 1, your mission as a specialist. It's time to step into the role and translate that data into action.
Moving right along to Phase 2, the case study and diagnosis. This is all about finding the right student data to act as your foundation. Okay, so before you can prescribe an intervention, you obviously need a patient, right? Or, in this case, a really rich student profile that details their academic background, linguistic needs, and specific assessment data. But you are under strict boundaries for where you can actually find your student. You absolutely must use credible sources. Whether you're browsing the FAU Library, the What Works Clearinghouse, the Iowa Reading Research Center, the International Dyslexia Association, or Reading Rockets, you know for sure you're pulling from rigorous, research-based platforms. Please, do not pull case studies from random teacher blogs. Stick to these approved heavy hitters.
Once you have your student, your first major written task is the needs analysis, which kicks off the grading rubric. Now, the absolutely crucial point here is that your 10-point needs analysis must go way beyond simply describing the data. You have to actually interpret what it means for your student's literacy development. Look, anybody can read a test score and say, well, the student scored low in decoding. But as a specialist, your job is to explain what that actually reveals about their entire reading profile. What are their strengths? What's the context? This section sets the stage for the whole shebang.
Which brings us to Phase 3, designing the intervention plan. This is your core instructional design.
This is where you roll up your sleeves and really start building the bridge to student success. Your workflow for this phase follows a strict 1-2-3 punch. You start with Step 1, defining 2 to 4 clear, measurable short-term and long-term goals based entirely on the data. Then, for Step 2, you provide your theoretical justification. This alone is worth 15 points. It requires you to explain exactly why your choices are effective using course concepts. Things like schema theory, response to intervention, structured literacy, or the zone of proximal development. Finally, Step 3 is building your 30-point targeted intervention plan. You are basically proving that your goals are measurable, your theories are sound, and your instructional plan is totally rock solid.
For that big 30-point targeted intervention section, you've got to detail specific instruction across these key literacy domains, based entirely on what your assessment data is telling you. We're talking phonics and word recognition, fluency, vocabulary, comprehension, and writing. And listen, for every single domain you include, you can't just drop the name of a strategy and move on. You have to explain exactly how the instruction will be delivered, outline the frequency, the duration, and the grouping. Is it small group? One-on-one? Every single detail matters here. Next up is Phase 4, implementation and equity logistics, making it work in the real world. Because, let's be real, an intervention plan is totally useless if it only looks good on paper but falls apart on a chaotic Tuesday morning in the classroom. You will earn 20 points simply by establishing a practical roadmap for the teacher. 10 points go straight toward establishing a clear instructional schedule. That means a weekly or multi-week plan showing time allocation and sequence across the different domains. The other 10 points, that's for progress monitoring. You need to explicitly state what tools you'll use to track progress, how often you'll monitor the student, and crucially, how that exact data will inform your future instructional adjustments. It is a continuous loop of teaching, testing, and tweaking.
Then we hit the absolutely crucial equity piece. You must directly answer this question to earn your 10 points for the differentiation and equity consideration section. It is definitely not enough to design a one-size-fits-all plan. You have to explicitly detail how your instruction supports diverse cultural and linguistic backgrounds. This means you need to incorporate specific strategies like visual supports, language supports, and deliberate scaffolding to ensure your plan is truly accessible to every single type of learner.
Moving along to Phase 5, Grounding Instruction in Research, leveraging the FAU library.
Look at the stark difference here between how you should and shouldn't integrate your sources. We've all been guilty of the weak example, right? Saying something like, this article talks about fluency and why it is important. That's just summarizing separately. It doesn't tell us why your specific intervention is actually good. Now check out the strong example. See how it directly justifies the instructional strategy using the evidence? That is exactly what you need to do for at least 2 instructional strategies in your plan. Identify the strategy, cite the peer-reviewed source, and explain exactly why it works for your specific student.
And finally, Phase 6, Collaboration and Final Requirements. Time to cross the finish line. All right, we've covered the pedagogical heavy lifting. Now let's quickly talk about the mechanical expectations. Your finished, co-authored document needs to hit that sweet spot of 5 to 7 double-spaced pages. You're not writing a novel, but you definitely need enough depth to cover all the requirements. It absolutely must be formatted impeccably in APA style. Yes, every single comma matters. And make sure to use clear headings for each section of the rubric so your instructor can easily navigate your master plan. Just maintain a clear, professional tone from start to finish. Here's the whole breakdown visually. When you look at where the points are, it's super clear how heavily weighted the core intervention and theoretical research are. But while the bulk of this project is a total team effort, notice how it concludes with a 5-point individual reflection and rationale. You will individually reflect on your decision-making process, explore why you think the plan is effective, anticipate what challenges might pop up, and discuss how you'd adapt the plan over time. It's really just a great way to personally process the massive amount of work you've just accomplished.
I want you to keep this provocative question ringing in your ears as you and your partner begin analyzing your data. How are your choices really going to move the needle for this learner? Remember, at the end of the day, this isn't just an assignment for a grade. This is your blueprint for changing a learner's entire life. Approach the data with real curiosity, lean heavily on the research, and design an intervention that truly unlocks the world of literacy for your student. You've got this. Good luck, and enjoy stepping into your role as a specialist.